Hey guys, Dan Heilman back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about something super serious. We have closed Bitcoin below the 350-day moving average on the weekly candle close. And yeah, it's pretty far below the line as well. So that was about $103,000, and we closed down here at 94. Now, historically, this has meant the bull market is completely over. So but I have a hard time believing it for a couple of reasons. It's kind of funny. I made a video like, I don't even know, 2.5 years ago saying that the top for Bitcoin is going to be about October 1st. And it was pretty close to that, right? It was pretty close to that. But my price target was like 200 grand. You can see the moving average up here, 2 times one of the moving averages. Again, indicator. If you just want to search DHYT, Dan Heilman YouTube, you can grab this indicator that gives you all of this in one indicator, bull market support band, and all of these. I had made that video and it ended up being really close to the timing, but my price was way off. So, a lot of things haven't played out. There's, if you go to like top indicators, Bitcoin top indicators, none of them triggered this cycle. So that's why I'm kind of wondering, we had a lot of big wallets coming out and selling. I'm wondering if market makers kind of knew that everyone was watching this and was like, all right, I'm going to push the price way down here and then have the weekly close here to think everyone to, kind of fake out everyone and saying the bull market's over. Now, I think we will get some sort of a pump, maybe even back to the bull market support band, and maybe even back above it. But the odds of putting a new cycle top in, if history repeats, are pretty low, right? So if we go to the weekly closes and we kind of show this, you can see once we closed below this, it was pretty much it for the bull market. You can see like here, we kind of closed right on it. In 2021-ish here, you can see we closed right on it. But once we closed below it, that was pretty much it. Now, we did come back, retest the bull market support band, and then come back down. So if you're thinking the top is in, I would be saying that you can sell, not right now, once we get back to the bull market support band. If you're still thinking we're out of, if it's done for, and you want to try to buy back at a lower price in about a year, historically also, we've gone about 1 year. If I go on this logarithmic chart here, again, this is why I thought the top was going to be right around here, is just because historically we've followed this pattern very well, right? So we've come up, the red line right here is the halving price. You can see we can come up, we've topped, and then we've spent about 1 year coming down. If I zoom out a little bit here, you can see here's the cycles, right? So you can see about 1 year coming back down, and then about basically 3 years back up, 1 year down, 3 years back up, and you can see we never really got anywhere near this top line at all. So it's just kind of interesting, right? And it's on the RSI on the weekly, we actually topped in March of 2024, which is really interesting, right? So we've been putting in basically bearish divergences for a while. But now another fun fact is if you look on the weekly here, you can see that we've made a higher low, but we've made a lower low on the RSI. So this is actually a hidden bullish divergence. So there's a lot going on that, you can definitely exit the market soon if you would like to. You can use the bull market support band. You can, I'm assuming we're going to come up at least probably 10-15% here. And if you want to get rid of some of your holdings or all of them, that would be the time to do it. Don't do it right now. Obviously, after this big pullback here, honestly, it's not that big for Bitcoin. It's only 25%, but some of the altcoins are down a good amount. Now, we are seeing a bit of a return on some of these. So if you go to like the daily chart here, you can see we are coming back on some of these. But it's interesting that we have the hidden bullish divergence on the weekly. And then if we go to some things like the total ES, this is the total market excluding stable coins, you can see we're kind of in this falling wedge pattern, which is usually very bullish. Camel Finance Indicator saying the bottom is somewhere near this point here. So another one is the total 3 ES is looking better than total ES. So total 3 is like the altcoins. I think they've just been historically so sold down that it's kind of hard for them to go a little bit lower. So there's a lot going on here. if we go to the cycle top indicator, so if you like just Google, you know, the bull market indicators, I mean, literally like none of them, look at it saying hold 100% because none of these have triggered. So I find it hard that if we don't follow any of these to then follow the strategy that if we close below this weekly moving average, which we have this red moving average, and we did close well below it. I find it hard for this to play out 100% when all the rest of the indicators have not. So it's kind of going to be up to you. You know, obviously, I'm no financial advisor. What I'm going to be doing is I will sell some of my holdings back here once we get back to the bull market support band. I don't know if I'm going to sell about 25%, maybe 50%, and I'm just going to kind of play it by, you know, ear the next couple of days here. I have a feeling FOMO Finder's actually been balanced, which is kind of interesting. If we go to like this chart here, we actually haven't seen really any what is it? Panic on this one. We haven't seen panic on this one in a while, actually, since about, what's that date there? October 30th, which is kind of interesting here. I think it came into uncertainty a couple times, but that doesn't show a different color on the chart. However, the fear and greed index has hit 10 for the last couple days, which is pretty insane because 10 is pretty much the lowest it like ever gets, right? There's a couple that are, no, yeah, there's a 6 over here. There's a couple down here, but honestly, 10 is pretty much as low as it gets for the crypto fear and greed, which usually means it's a good time to buy. Now, again, the bull market could be pretty much over. We could come up here and just make a lower high. We could even break the bull market support band and maybe hit this red moving average top at about 117 and then come back down for the bear market. So there's a lot that's possible. We're kind of in uncharted territories for sure, because there's also, you know, monetary policy has been quite different. The Fed has stated that we're going to end quantitative tightening on December 1st. So that is not too far away now. So, right, it's the 17th of November right now. So we'll kind of see what happens here. If we also look at the moving average down in the very first cycle, it was kind of the same thing. So on the weekly, we closed below this. And it's actually, we kind of bounced off of it, to be honest. I mean, we didn't even close it until like right here. And then, yeah, the top is in, but the top was in quite a long time ago, right? So this was, you know, once we finally closed, it was, you know, 518 here, and this was 1217, right? So there's, you know, 5 months in between here. And then, you know, if you were to sell right here, you've already pretty much taken a 60% drop. And then from here, it only really dropped another, I guess, 60%. So it's still a big drop, right? So it's we're kind of in uncharted territory just because I feel like none of the top signals have really indicated that we're completely, you know, ending the cycle here. If I go to like my sentiment thing here, let's go look at like outflows, right? So we have had a lot of outflows coming out of Bitcoin. This is the Bitcoin ETF. A lot of outflows, like 1,200. I think this is Bitcoin. Is this Bitcoin? I'm not even sure on these indicators here. You can see a lot of outflows on Ethereum, Solana. Surprise! This is weekly. So if we go to daily, you can see it paints a little bit clearer picture. But you can see usually when we get these massive outflows, that's pretty much the bottom. You can see right here. Massive outflows here. We did go a little bit lower. Massive outflows here. That was the bottom. Some outflows here, at least a short-term bottom, right? So it's kind of interesting. We do have fear and greed as low as it's been. And then we have this short-term bubble risk, which is like getting to almost the same levels as April. Now, I do see a lot of similarities from right now till April. You know, to April, right? So this tariffs tantrum here, I see a lot of similarities there. So, man, I'm really torn on this one. Comment below. Do you guys think the bull market's over? Do you think we'll have any new highs in the next, I don't know, 6 months? Or do you think it's completely over? It sure feels over, but sometimes that is the best time to buy. Now, if you're trying to get into the market, I don't know that it's an amazing time to just slam right into the market right now. But if you're still holding, I would at least wait for a little bit of an exit pump before you get completely out of here. Again, a lot of these, you know, we're very oversold on the RSI. And again, on the weekly, it's really interesting that we have the bullish divergence forming here, right? Because you have a higher low, but you have a lower low on RSI down here. So that's the one that's interesting. I still think we see at least one last move up. I don't know that we're going to make a new high. Because as you can see, if we clean this chart up a little bit, we've been really being held to these two lines here, right? So if you draw lines from the tops in the 2017 through the 2021, if you do like weekly close, I can't align through the weekly close and through the top of the wicks. You can see this has been a lot of resistance here. We've been fighting to get above these lines for quite some time. You can see we came up here, pulled back, came up here, tested the higher one now, and then pulled back. So I think we're going to move up. Altcoins are holding up pretty well, right? Because Ethereum is actually holding this red moving average. It's a little bit, how much further are we below? So we're right now 13% below the bull market support band. Here we are about 13%. So kind of similar. Let's look at USDT dominance. So this is another one that I kind of have some charts, some boxes drawn on the screen here. You can see there's been historically a lot of resistance up here in this band, right? You can see there's this was kind of support here, and then support here again, and then now it's kind of turned it into resistance, and we're trying to get back above this. But the last couple times we've been sold off from here. So this has historically been good buying opportunities, right? Because this is right now, and then we have April, which was a good time to buy, and this was September 2024, a great time to buy. So this is kind of signaling that you should be looking at acquiring down on these lows, and then you could, when it gets back into this box, these have been good times to sell, right? So this is March 2024. Yep, that was a significant top. That was actually, as I said earlier, the highest RSI that we saw for Bitcoin. And then right around inauguration and election times, that was a great time to sell. And then yeah, about August here, so great time to sell again. So this has been a very telling chart. We have something kind of similar here. If you add in USDC, Bitcoin dominance has been interesting because it is also dropping, right? So Bitcoin dominance is dropping, and it says there's going to be a low sometime in, I don't know, November, end of November, beginning of December, which also coincides with the start of hopefully quantitative easing, right? They're ending quantitative tightening. That doesn't mean that quantitative easing starts directly, but this will be interesting to see how the market opens up. Stocks are, let's see, stocks are a little bit green today. So stocks are green today. We'll see what happens here. The Bitcoin crypto stocks just got decimated. So if you're looking to add into any of these, this is a good time to get in it. Bitmine immersion, you know, just decimated below the bull market support band. A lot of these CLSK coming all the way back down. A lot of these are down like, I don't even know, 60-70%. So here's 60%. IREN is one of the better ones, holding up a little bit better. This one's only down 38%. Bitfarms saw a massive pump and then retraced about 60%. So these have been quite brutal, and MicroStrategy, of course, has looked topped for quite some time now. It's all the way back down into here. So from the very top, I mean, this one is down a lot, right? So 63%. But I don't know, we're getting kind of, you know, oversold here, and potentially time for some bounces. So that's what we got going on today. Historically, when we close below these, that means the bull market's over, but also historically, we haven't seen any top indicators. So I'm kind of torn on that one, right? So I think once we get back up to the bull market support band yet again for Bitcoin, I think I'll close some of my position, maybe 25, maybe 50%. Just kind of see how big of a, if we get a really big bounce out of here, maybe I'll close a little bit less. If we get a slow bounce, I might close a little bit more. So that's how I'm playing the market. You guys are welcome to do whatever you want. Litecoin has been holding up quite good. My Litecoin trade is basically break even, and my Bitcoin trade that I had open, I think I opened about, I don't know, in here somewhere, is down about 10%. So not looking so hot. So that's it for the video. If you want to do any leverage trading, I have an affiliate link below for Bitunix, my favorite exchange, and I have one for Coinbase as well. But Bitunix is where I do most of my trading. You can sign up for an account very quickly. That's it for the video. Have a great day. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Comment below. Do you think it's over? Do you think we make a new high anytime soon? Or do you think one more year and we're down to the lows? Let me know below, and have a great day. See you guys.